It was supposed to be just a ride home. Rain pouring. Phone dying. Career destroyed. Ethel Romero stood on a Soul Street corner at midnight, desperate enough to accept a ride from a stranger with a black sedan and eyes that promised violence. She thought he was her rideshare driver. He wasn't. 3 blocks later, bullets shattered the rear window. The driver pulled a gun with movements too smooth, too practiced, too lethal. "Get down," he commanded in accented English. "And don't scream. Who are you?" "Someone you saved 10 years ago. Now get the fuck down." His name was Sung-hyun Yoon, Korea's most feared mafia boss. And the teenage boy Ethel had once helped bleeding in an alley, the one she'd forgotten about, had never forgotten her. But the ambush wasn't random. Her corrupt boss had used her as bait to lure Sung-hyun into a trap. Within hours, Ethel would be framed for embezzlement on national television, hunted by 2 rival syndicates, and caught in a war between Korea's criminal underworld and corporate corruption. She wanted to go home. Home no longer existed. The man who took 2 bullets to protect her? He was her only way to survive the night. And the evidence she'd accidentally uncovered? It was about to burn down empires. Before we continue, if you want to know how one random ride turned into a fight for survival, how a forensic accountant became the most wanted woman in Seoul, and why a mafia boss would die to protect the stranger who saved him years ago, smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications because this thriller will have you on the edge of your seat. Ethel Romero's life ended at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Not literally, though in the hours that followed, she'd wish it had. It started in a conference room where her boss, Vincent Caldwell, fired her in front of the entire executive team. "Your services are no longer required." "What? Why?" "I've been here 4 years. We've discovered irregularities in your work. It's best you leave immediately." Irregularities. The word hit like a slap. "What irregularities?" "I can explain any. Security will escort you out." 2 guards appeared. Ethel's colleagues wouldn't meet her eyes. In 15 minutes, her career was over, office cleared, badge confiscated, reputation destroyed. She stood on the Soul Street in pouring rain, phone at 3% battery, no way home except a rideshare app that kept canceling on her. Desperate people make desperate choices. A black sedan pulled up. Tinted windows. No rideshare sticker. But the license plate matched her app. The driver didn't speak. Just nodded. Ethel hesitated, every instinct screaming this was wrong. But rain soaked through her jacket, her phone was dying, and she had nowhere else to go. She got in the car. The man behind the wheel was younger than she expected. Tattoos peeked from under his collar. Scars marked his knuckles. His eyes, when they met hers in the rearview mirror, held something cold and ancient. He looked like violence wrapped in expensive clothes. "Bad night?" he asked in accented English. "You could say that. It's about to get worse." Before Ethel could process those words, headlights appeared behind them. Moving fast. Too fast. "Get down," the driver commanded. "What? Now?" Ethel dropped as the rear window exploded in gunfire. Glass rained over Ethel's head. The driver, whoever he was, moved with inhuman calm. One hand on the wheel, the other producing a gun from seemingly nowhere. He fired back through the shattered window, steering with his knees, bullets hitting their pursuers with impossible accuracy. "Who are you?" Ethel screamed. "Wrong question. Better question. Who wants you dead?" "No one wants me dead. I'm an accountant." Accountants who stumble onto 50 million in laundered money tend to have short life expectancies. The car swerved violently. Another vehicle tried to ram them. The driver spun the wheel, putting them into a controlled drift that would have made stunt drivers jealous, and accelerated down a side street. More gunfire. More swerving. Ethel couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only hold on while this stranger fought off armed killers like it was routine. "There's a parking garage 3 blocks ahead," he said, voice steady despite the chaos. "We go there. You do exactly what I say. Understand? I don't even know who you are. I'm not your rideshare driver. That's all you need to know right now." They lost the pursuers, barely, and screeched into an underground garage. The driver parked in shadows, killed the engine, and finally turned to look at Ethel directly. Up close, he was striking. Sharp features, dark eyes that missed nothing, an intensity that felt like being X-rayed. "Why are people shooting at us?" Ethel demanded, voice shaking. "At you. They're shooting at you. That's insane. I'm nobody. You're Ethel Romero, forensic accountant at Caldwell Financial. You were fired tonight after discovering financial irregularities. Irregularities that exposed two of Seoul's most dangerous criminal syndicates." "How did he know that?" "Who are you?" "My name is Sung-hyun Yoon. I run, let's call it security operations in Seoul." "Security? You're a gangster. You're mafia." "Yes." The blunt admission was somehow more terrifying than a denial. "Why are you helping me?" Sung-hyun stared at her for a long moment. 10 years ago, in an alley near Hongdae, you found a teenage boy bleeding out from a knife wound. You called an ambulance. Stayed with him until they arrived. Gave a fake name because you were worried about immigration status. Ethel's mind raced back. 10 years ago, she'd been a grad student. Had found a kid bleeding, called for help. That was you. That was me. You were just a kid. I was 16 and stupid. Got jumped by a rival gang. Should have died. Didn't, because some American woman with gold hoop earrings decided to help instead of walk away. He gestured at her ears. The same hoops she'd worn since college. "You saved my life. Tonight, I'm returning the favor." Before Ethel could respond, Sung-hyun's phone buzzed. He checked it. Expression darkening. "We need to move. Now." "They've found." Gunfire erupted from the garage entrance. Sung-hyun shoved Ethel behind a concrete pillar and returned fire. Men in suits poured in, professional, coordinated, ruthless. "Stay down," he ordered. But Ethel saw movement behind him. A gunman, aiming for Sung-hyun's back. "Behind you!" Sung-hyun spun, but not fast enough. The gunman fired, and Sung-hyun threw himself in front of Ethel, taking the bullet in his shoulder instead of letting it hit her. He went down hard, blood spreading across his shirt, but kept firing, taking out the gunman, then 2 more, moving through pain like it was nothing. When the shooting stopped, 6 bodies littered the garage. None of them were Sung-hyun's men. This was all him. "You're shot," Ethel gasped, pressing her hands to his shoulder. "Not the first time. Won't be the last." He grimaced. "But we need to move before reinforcements arrive." "You need a hospital. I need my safe house. And you need to decide if you trust me. Because the alternative is going to the police, who are half owned by the people trying to kill you, or going home, which they're probably watching." Ethel looked at this stranger who'd just taken a bullet for her. This criminal. This mafia boss. This man who remembered a kindness from a decade ago. "I trust you." Stupid choice. But probably your only one. Sung-hyun drove them to a high-rise in Gangnam. His shoulder bled steadily, but his hands never shook. "You need stitches," Ethel insisted. "I have people for that." The penthouse was steel and glass and violence, expensive furniture alongside weapon racks, abstract art next to security monitors. 3 men waited inside, all radiating the same lethal energy as Sung-hyun. "Boss," the oldest one said, taking in the blood. "You're hit. Flesh wound. Day 1, this is Ethel Romero. She's under my protection. Anyone touches her answers to me." The 3 men stared at Ethel like she was a bomb about to explode. "Boss," the youngest one, barely 20, said carefully. "Is this the woman from the Caldwell situation?" "Yes." "The one Vincent Caldwell is claiming embezzled 50 million? Wait. What? What?" Ethel's voice came out strangled. "I didn't embezzle anything." "I know," Sung-hyun said, sitting heavily. "But Caldwell's about to make it look like you did. Day 1, get the medic. Jae-sung, pull up the news." The youngest one, Jae-sung, turned on a massive screen. Ethel's face filled it. Breaking news. Caldwell financial accountant accused of massive embezzlement scheme. Ethel Romero, 32, allegedly stole over $50 million. Authorities searching for. CEO Vincent Caldwell held an emergency press conference. Ethel watched her life disintegrate in real time. Her photo, her name, her credentials questioned. Vincent Caldwell, the actual criminal, playing the devastated victim. "This is impossible," she whispered. "I didn't. I would never." "Of course you didn't," Sung-hyun said. "You discovered the embezzlement. Caldwell's covering his tracks by blaming you. Classic. But I have evidence. I documented everything. Do you have it with you? It's on my work computer, which they confiscated when they fired me. Then you have nothing. And Caldwell has everything. Money, connections, control of the narrative." Ethel's legs gave out. She collapsed into a chair, mind spinning. Her career, her reputation, her freedom, all gone in hours. "I need to go to the police. The police are looking for you. For embezzlement. By the time you convince them you're innocent, if you can convince them, you'll either be dead or in prison." "So what do I do?" Sung-hyun met her eyes. "You fight back. With me." Quick question. If you were framed for a crime you didn't commit and the only person who believed you was a literal mafia boss, would you trust him? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you're already hooked on this story, hit that subscribe button because it gets wild from here. A medic arrived. Middle-aged woman, efficient, unfazed by the gunshot wound. "You're lucky," she told Sung-hyun after stitching him up. "Few inches lower and you'd have arterial damage." "Luck's got nothing to do with it. Ethel warned me." The medic glanced at Ethel with new interest. "You saved his life." I yelled. He moved. "Team effort." "She's modest," Sung-hyun said. "She's also brilliant." Jae-sung, set her up with a secure laptop. Day 1, I need everything you can find on Caldwell Financial's recent transactions. "Boss," Day 1 said carefully. "We need to discuss the possibility that she's not a spy, not a plant, not working with anyone. She's exactly who she appears to be." "How can you be sure?" "Because 10 years ago, she saved my life without knowing who I was or what I'd become. That's not the action of someone playing games." Day 1 didn't look convinced, but he nodded. After they left, Ethel turned to Sung-hyun. "Why are you really helping me?" "I told you. The debt from 10 years ago, I know. But you could have dropped me at a safe location and called it even. Instead, you're taking bullets, using your resources, making me your problem. Why?" Sung-hyun was quiet for a long moment. "Because you're the first person in 20 years who helped me without wanting something back. In my world, that's rarer than honest cops." He met her eyes. "And because Caldwell's corruption is connected to organizations I'm at war with. Helping you helps me." "What organizations?" "The White Serpent Syndicate and the Eastern Port Triad. They've been laundering money through Caldwell Financial for 3 years. You stumbled onto their operation. Now they want you dead before you expose them." "I'm just an accountant." "You're a forensic accountant who specializes in uncovering fraud. You're a weapon, Ethel. You just didn't know you'd been aimed at them." "So what's the plan?" "We prove Caldwell is the criminal. We expose the syndicates. We clear your name." He smiled grimly. "And we burn down everyone who tried to destroy you." "That sounds impossible." "Most good plans do." For 3 days, Ethel lived in Sung-hyun's penthouse, working 16-hour days reconstructing Caldwell Financial's dirty secrets. Sung-hyun's people provided her with hacked access to files she shouldn't have. Ethel didn't ask how they got them. She was too focused on following the money. And what she found was staggering. "Caldwell's been running a dual ledger system," she explained to Sung-hyun, spreading documents across his dining table. "Official books that look clean. Shadow books that track the real money flow." "How much?" "Over 300 million. Laundered through shell companies in the Caymans, Singapore, and Luxembourg. The syndicates provide dirty money. Caldwell invests it through legitimate businesses. It comes back clean. That's more than we suspected. It gets worse. Caldwell's been skimming, taking a bigger cut than the syndicates agreed to. He's been stealing from criminals. Which is suicide. Exactly. When they find out, they kill him. But first, they want everyone else who knows silenced. That's why you're a target. Ethel looked at the evidence spread before her. If I can organize this properly, document the connections, show the paper trail, I can prove Caldwell's guilty and I'm innocent. You can do more than that. You can bring down two of the most powerful criminal organizations in Seoul. That's your war, not mine. It became your war when they tried to kill you. Fair point. Day one entered. Boss, we have a problem. The White Serpent Syndicate knows we're sheltering her. They've sent a message. What message? Deliver the accountant by midnight tomorrow, or they come for her themselves. Sung-hyun's expression went cold. They can try. Boss, we're talking about Director Lee's entire organization. We can't fight them all. We don't have to fight them all. We just have to hold them off long enough for Ethel to finish her work. And then what? Then we negotiate. From a position of strength. That night, Ethel couldn't sleep. She found Sung-hyun on the balcony, smoking and staring at the Seoul skyline. Can't sleep, he asked without turning. People want me dead. It's affecting my rest. He smiled slightly. You're handling this better than most would. I'm terrified. I'm just good at hiding it. That's called strength. They stood in silence for a moment. Why did you really join a gang? Ethel asked. What happened to that 16-year-old kid I helped? Sung-hyun was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. My father was Korean mob. Got himself killed when I was 14. Left debts. The kind that get paid in blood if you don't have money. He exhaled smoke. I didn't have money, but I had rage. And I was good at violence. So I joined the organization that killed him. Worked my way up. Took it over. Now I run what he died trying to control. That's dark. That's life in my world. Do you regret it? Every day. But regret doesn't change what I've done. I am what I am, a criminal, a killer, a man who built an empire on violence. That's why I remember you, Ethel. Because you looked at a bleeding kid in an alley and didn't see a future monster. You just saw someone who needed help. I still see that. Then you're the only one. Their eyes held for a beat too long. Something electric and dangerous sparked between them. We should sleep, Sung-hyun said, stepping back. Tomorrow gets complicated. The attack came at dawn. Ethel woke to gunfire. Close, inside the building. Sung-hyun burst into her room. Get dressed. We need to move. Now. What's happening? Someone leaked our location. White serpents hitting us hard. Ethel had never dressed faster in her life. They met Dae-won and Jae-sung in the main room. Both armed, both bleeding. How many? Sung-hyun demanded. At least 20. They've got the exits covered. The roof. Our best shot. They fought their way up, Sung-hyun and his men moving like a well-oiled machine, Ethel staying low, trying not to get shot. She saw men die. Saw Sung-hyun kill without hesitation. This was his world. Brutal, efficient, unforgiving. They reached the roof. A helicopter waited. Sung-hyun's escape plan. But as they ran for it, bullets tore through the air. Jae-sung went down, screaming. Dae-won returned fire, pulling the younger man to cover. Sung-hyun shoved Ethel toward the helicopter. Get in. What about? Get in. More gunfire. Sung-hyun shot back, covering Dae-won and Jae-sung's retreat. Then Ethel saw it, a sniper on the adjacent building, aiming at Sung-hyun. He couldn't see it, too focused on the attackers ahead. Sung-hyun. Sniper. He turned just as the shot fired. And once again, he moved wrong, trying to dodge, but the bullet caught him in the side. He went down hard, blood spreading. No! Ethel ran to him, despite every instinct screaming to run the other way. Day 1 provided covering fire. Somehow, they got Sung Hyun into the helicopter. Somehow, they escaped. But Sung Hyun was badly hurt. Worse than before. Stay with me, Ethel demanded, pressing her hands to his wound. Don't you dare die after all this. Wasn't planning on it, he managed. Just need a minute. You need a hospital. Can't. Too public. Day 1. Take us to Dr. Ryu. The helicopter veered toward a private clinic while Ethel fought to keep Sung Hyun conscious and bleeding. Okay, real talk. Can we just acknowledge that this man has taken 2 bullets for her and they've known each other for like 72 hours? If that's not commitment, I don't know what is. Hit that like button if you're invested in their survival, and subscribe because this story is nowhere near over. Dr. Ryu was an older woman who'd clearly treated gunshot wounds before. You're lucky it missed vital organs, she told Sung Hyun after surgery. But you've lost a lot of blood. You need rest. Don't have time for rest. Make time, or you'll die. Your choice. After she left, Day 1 pulled Sung Hyun aside. Ethel couldn't hear what they said, but body language told her enough. Day 1 was angry, Sung Hyun was defensive, and her name kept coming up. When Sung Hyun returned, he looked exhausted. What did he say? Ethel asked. That sheltering you is getting my men killed. That I should hand you over and end this. Ethel's stomach dropped. Are you going to? No. But he's not wrong about the cost. Jae-sung is critical. 2 others are dead. This war is escalating because of you. I never asked for. I know. But it's happening anyway. He sat heavily, wincing. The question is, what do we do now? We finish what we started. I complete the evidence package. We expose Caldwell and the syndicates. We end this. That's the plan. But we need leverage. The syndicates won't back down just because we have evidence. They'll kill everyone involved and destroy the proof. So how do we make them back down? Sung Hyun smiled. Cold. Calculating. Dangerous. We turn them against each other. Caldwell's been stealing from both syndicates, Sung Hyun explained, spreading out documents. White Serpent and Eastern Port Triad think they're each getting 40% of the laundered money. But Caldwell's cooking the books, showing them smaller numbers while skimming 20% off the top. $30 million, Ethel calculated. He's stolen $30 million from literal killers. Exactly. If we can prove Caldwell's been stealing from them, show them he's been playing them against each other, they'll turn on him instead of us. That's brilliant. And insane. Most good plans are both. Ethel worked through the night, building a comprehensive financial breakdown that proved Caldwell's theft. Shell companies. False invoices. Dual accounts. All documented. Time-stamped. Irrefutable. This is solid, Sung Hyun said, reviewing her work. But we need a way to get it to both syndicates simultaneously. And we need to do it in a way that makes Caldwell the target, not us. What about a meeting? Get all parties in one room. Present the evidence. Let them fight it out. That's suicide. They'd kill us first, divide the evidence later. Not if we have insurance. What kind of insurance? Me. Live streaming everything to the internet. If anything happens to us, the world sees it all. Caldwell's crimes, the syndicate's involvement, everything. They can't kill the messenger if the message is already everywhere. Sung Hyun stared at her. That's either genius or the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Can't it be both? It can. And it probably is. But it might work. The meeting was set for midnight at Pier 17, neutral territory, heavy security from all sides. Ethel was terrified. But she'd stopped running days ago. Now she was fighting back. Stay close to me, Sung Hyun instructed as they approached. If shooting starts, you run. Don't look back. Don't try to help. Just run. I'm not leaving you. Yes, you are. Because if you die, All this was for nothing. Before Ethel could argue, they entered the warehouse. It was a scene from a crime movie. Two groups of armed men on either side, hostile energy crackling, Vincent Caldwell standing in the middle looking pale and terrified. Director Lee of the White Serpent Syndicate stood to the left. Mr. Tanaka of the Eastern Port Triad stood to the right. Both looked at Ethel like she was prey. "Ms. Romero," Director Lee said, voice like silk over steel. "You've been causing considerable trouble." "She's been stealing considerable money," Caldwell interjected desperately. 50 million. "Shut up, Vincent," Sung-hyun said coldly. "The adults are talking." The warehouse went silent. "Gentlemen," Ethel began, voice steadier than she felt. "I'm here to prove two things. First, I didn't embezzle anything. Second, Vincent Caldwell has been stealing from you. Both of you." "Lies," Caldwell spat. "She's desperate." "I have documentation," Ethel continued, pulling out a tablet. 3 years of financial records. Shell companies. False accounts. Proof that Caldwell has skimmed over 30 million from your organizations." "That's impossible," Director Lee started. "Is it? Have you audited his work? Verified the numbers he's been giving you?" Silence. "Here's how it worked," Ethel explained, bringing up files. "White Serpent, you thought you were getting 40% of laundered funds. Eastern Port Triad, you thought the same. But Caldwell showed you both different books, underreporting the total amounts while taking a 20% cut off the top." She projected the documents on the warehouse wall. Split screens showing dual ledgers, fake invoices, the entire scheme laid bare. For example, last quarter's real total was 42 million. Caldwell reported 35 to each of you, paid you each 14 million, 40% of the fake number, and pocketed the remaining 14 million himself. "He's been stealing from you." "Not me. Him." Director Lee and Mr. Tanaka turned to Caldwell with expressions that promised death. "This is fabricated," Caldwell insisted. "She's working with Yun. They're trying to drive a wedge." "Actually," Sung-hyun said, "she's working with the truth. Which is why I believe her and you're about to die." "Wait." Caldwell pulled a gun. "Nobody moves or I shoot her." He grabbed Ethel, pressing the gun to her head. "Bad move." Sung-hyun went very still. Very cold. "Vincent, you have 3 seconds to let her go. 1. Back off or she dies. 2. I mean it. 3. Sung-hyun moved. One moment he was across the warehouse. The next, he was on Caldwell, disarming him with brutal efficiency. The gun clattered away. Caldwell hit the ground. But in the chaos, someone from the White Serpent side fired. Whether accidentally or intentionally, Ethel never knew. Sung-hyun threw himself between Ethel and the bullet. Again. He took it in the chest. Collapsed. "No!" Ethel dropped beside him, hands going to the wound. So much blood. Too much blood. All hell broke loose. Both syndicates drawing weapons, Sung-hyun's men returning fire, the warehouse erupting into violence. Through it all, Ethel held her phone up, streaming everything live. "My name is Ethel Romero," she said into the camera, voice shaking. "Vincent Caldwell framed me for embezzlement to cover his crimes. The proof is in the files I'm uploading right now. Everything. The money laundering. The theft. The syndicates involved. All of it. If anything happens to me, if this stream ends, you know who's responsible. The world is watching. You can't silence the truth when millions of people already have it." Pause for a second. This man has taken 3 bullets for her. 3. At what point does taking bullets become his love language? Comment if you think Sung-hyun is the most ride-or-die character ever, and subscribe because you need to see how this ends. The shooting stopped. Everyone stared at Ethel, at the phone streaming to thousands of viewers, the evidence going viral in real time. Director Lee lowered his weapon. "Ms. Romero, turn off the stream. We can negotiate." "No. The stream stays on. You want to kill me? Do it in front of the world. You're brave. Or stupid. Both, apparently. It's been a theme this week. Mr. Tanaka spoke for the first time. The evidence you showed, it's legitimate? Completely. I'm a forensic accountant. This is what I do. And Caldwell stole from us? Systematically. For 3 years. Both syndicate leaders turned to Caldwell, who was sobbing on the warehouse floor. Please, I can pay it back. You stole from us, Director Lee said quietly. Used us. Made us look like fools. That's a death sentence in our world, Mr. Tanaka added. Wait! Caldwell screamed. What about her? She exposed you. She's the real threat. No, Sung-hyun said, struggling to sit up despite his wound. She's the reason you're not getting away with it. There's a difference. He looked at the syndicate leaders. Ms. Romero didn't embezzle, didn't launder, didn't steal. She found the truth and got punished for it. By him. The man you trusted. The man who stole from you. What are you proposing? Director Lee asked. Let her go. Let her clear her name. And we split Caldwell's assets as restitution for his theft. Everyone gets what they're owed. Everyone walks away clean. Except Caldwell. Except Caldwell. The two syndicate leaders exchanged glances. Some silent communication passed between them. Agreed, Director Lee finally said. But the stream ends. Now. And nothing else about our operations goes public. Ethel looked at Sung-hyun, who nodded slightly. She ended the stream. But the damage was done. Millions had watched. The evidence was everywhere. Caldwell's crimes were public record now. Ms. Romero, Mr. Tanaka said. You're brave. Foolish, but brave. You've earned your freedom today. Don't waste it. Both syndicates collected their men and left, dragging Caldwell with them. Ethel never saw him again. She didn't need to. She knew how stories like his ended. Sung-hyun was unconscious before they got him to Dr. Ryu. 3rd bullet wound in 5 days, the doctor said, shaking her head. He's going to run out of blood or luck. Whichever comes first. Will he survive? If he rests. If he doesn't get shot again. Big ifs. Ethel stayed by his bedside for 3 days while he healed. Day 1 and the others gave her space, no longer viewing her as a threat. You saved his life, Day 1 admitted. Multiple times. That counts for something. He saved mine first. And second. And third. He's bad at math when it comes to you. When Sung-hyun finally woke, Ethel was reading financial reports. You're still here, he said, voice rough. Where else would I be? Anywhere but a crime lord's recovery room. Yeah, well, bad decisions are kind of my thing now. He smiled, really smiled. How bad is it? 3 bullets. You're an overachiever. Did it work? The plan. Perfectly. Caldwell's empire is destroyed. The syndicates are dealing with him. And I'm officially cleared of all charges. The police realized I was framed once the evidence went viral. Your reputation? Restored. Better than restored. 3 companies have already offered me positions. Apparently, being publicly framed and then clearing your name makes you very hireable in the anti-corruption sector. So you're free. I'm free. That's good. That's what I wanted. Ethel set down her papers. What about what I want? What do you want? I want to know if this was just about paying a debt. If saving me was just settling accounts from 10 years ago. Sung-hyun looked at her for a long moment. At first, maybe. But somewhere between the 1st bullet and the 3rd, it became about something else. What? You. Just you. Ethel's breath caught. I'm leaving Korea. Once you're healed, once this settles. I have a job offer in Singapore. You should take it. Get away from this city. This violence. Come with me. Sung-hyun blinked. What? Come with me. Leave this life. We could. Ethel, I can't just leave. I have an organization. Responsibilities. People who depend on me. People who shoot you repeatedly. It's complicated. Then uncomplicate it. Choose something different. Choose safety. Choose. Choose you. Yes. Choose me. The silence stretched between them, heavy with possibility and impossibility. I can't, Sunghyun finally said. This is who I am. What I am. I can't just walk away from decades of choices and become someone else. Even for a chance at something real? What we have isn't real, is it? Or is it just adrenaline and proximity? I took 3 bullets for you. I know. And I'm grateful. But I need to know, is this love? Or is this just debt and danger creating an illusion? Sunghyun struggled to sit up. Ethel, I'm not asking you to change for me. I'm asking you to choose what you want. Do you want this life? Or do you want something different? I want you to be safe. And you can't be safe with me. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. Ethel stood. Then I guess this is goodbye. Ethel, you saved my life. Multiple times. I'll never forget that. But I can't build a future on gratitude and what-ifs. I need something real. And you need to figure out what you want before you drag someone else into your world. She walked out before her resolve broke. Ethel spent the next 2 weeks preparing to leave Korea. New apartment in Singapore. New job. New life. Away from bullets and betrayal and feelings too complicated to name. She tried not to think about Sunghyun. Failed constantly. Her phone remained silent. He didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't fight for her. Maybe that was answer enough. The night before her flight, Ethel stood on her hotel balcony, looking at Seoul's glittering skyline one last time. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. She opened it. Sunghyun stood there, looking healthier than she'd seen him since the shooting. Hi, he said. Hi. Can I come in? Should you? Probably not. But I'm here anyway. Ethel stepped aside. Let him enter. They stood in awkward silence, these 2 people who'd survived hell together but couldn't figure out what came after. I thought about what you said, Sunghyun started. About choosing what I want instead of just accepting what I've become. And you're right. I've spent 20 years telling myself I had no choice. That this life chose me. But that's bullshit. Every decision was mine. Every step deeper into this world was a choice. So what are you choosing now? I'm choosing to try something different. I'm stepping back from the organization. Letting day one take over day-to-day operations. I'm not abandoning my people, but I'm not letting this life consume me anymore. Why? Because 3 bullets taught me something. I'd rather risk everything for something real than stay safe in something empty. Ethel felt tears prickling. Sunghyun, I'm not asking you to stay in Korea. I'm not asking you to give up Singapore. I'm just asking, can I try? To be someone worthy of you? To build something that isn't founded on violence and debt. That's going to take time. I have time. You're worth time. I don't need you to be different. I need you to be honest. About who you are, what you want, where this goes. Honestly? I'm a criminal who took 3 bullets for an accountant and would take 30 more without hesitation. I'm someone who's been empty for 20 years until you stumbled into my car. I'm terrified you'll realize I'm not worth this. But I'm here. Trying. Asking. Ethel crossed to him. Cupped his face. You're worth it. You always were. You just had to believe it. Help me believe it. That's a lot of work. I'm aware. I charge by the hour. I'll pay whatever you ask. They kissed. Finally, properly, without bullets or blood or emergency driving away from it. I'm still moving to Singapore, Ethel said when they broke apart. I know. But Singapore has flights to Seoul. And Seoul has flights to Singapore. It does. So maybe we don't have to choose between your world and mine. Maybe we build something that exists in both. Is that possible? I don't know. But I'm willing to try if you are. Sunghyun pulled her close. I'm willing to try anything with you. 6 months later. Ethel's Singapore apartment had a view of the harbor and a much lower risk of gunfire than her Seoul hotels. She loved her new job, using her forensic skills to investigate corporate corruption across Asia. Legitimate work. Clean work. Work that made a difference without requiring bulletproof vests. Sung-hyun visited twice a month. Sometimes she flew to Seoul. They were learning each other. Outside of adrenaline, outside of danger, just two people trying to build something real. It was slow, careful, not without challenges. But it was real. Any regrets? Sung-hyun asked one evening, as they watched the sunset from her balcony. About which part? Getting in my car that night. The worst decision you ever made. The best decision, Ethel corrected. Getting in your car saved my life. You saved my life. Multiple times. How could I regret that? I got you shot at. A lot. You also helped me take down a corrupt empire. And cleared my name. And showed me I was stronger than I thought. Still. 3 bullets. 3 bullets that taught me something important. What? That some people are worth the danger. Some connections are worth the risk. And sometimes the worst decisions lead to the best outcomes. Sung-hyun pulled her close. I love you. I know. You took 3 bullets for me. I'd take 300. Let's not test that theory. They laughed, and Ethel realized, this was it. This was happiness. Not perfect, not safe, but real and chosen and worth every terrifying moment. Because sometimes the random ride home leads exactly where you needed to go all along. So that's how Ethel Romero's worst night turned into her greatest adventure. She chose a random car for a ride home and ended up in the middle of a war between corporate corruption and criminal syndicates. She was framed, hunted, and shot at, but she fought back with intelligence, courage, and one very determined mafia boss. This story proves that sometimes the people who save you aren't who you expect. Sometimes danger reveals character. And sometimes taking 3 bullets for someone is the most honest way to say, I love you. What would you do if your rideshare turned out to be a mafia boss? Run. Stay. Take your chances. Let me know in the comments. And if you loved this action-packed thriller about corruption, loyalty, and love forged in gunfire, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because I have more incredible stories coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the worst decisions lead to the best outcomes. But maybe check your driver's credentials first.